Hi, I'm naturopathic Dr. Sami McCulley, and today I want to talk to you about face yoga. So about 20 years ago, I had a little aha. I was at my grandmother's memorial service, and it was the first time I'd met my great uncle, her younger brother. He was 82 at the time, and I remember remarking how young he looked. He had virtually no wrinkles on his face, a few lines on his forehead, but really nothing other than that. And I thought, how could he look so much younger than my grandmother, who was only 2 years older than him? And what I realized was that the big difference is that he had been shaving his whole life, exercising the muscles on his face. Now, whether I'm right about that or not, I do not know, but if you look around, men typically have fewer wrinkles than women. And that is the big difference, other than we all have different hormones, of course. And if you've ever noticed that people with darker skin tend to have fewer wrinkles than people with lighter skin. In fact, my mother-in-law is Indian. She is 74, and she really has no wrinkles on her face. She has beautiful skin. I would say I look maybe a little older than she does, and I just turned 44 a few weeks ago. So, we all have our genetics, but there are lots of things we can do about it. So when we exercise our bodies, our skin sits over our muscles in a different way, and it looks nicer. So one thing we don't really focus on is exercising our faces. So if we can have stronger muscles in our faces, which goes completely against the whole Botox idea of not using your muscles at all, we can have our skin will sit a little higher on our faces. And the other thing that I think you should know is that I never really thought about this until a few years ago. I took a class on the brain. It was a 3-day class, everything you could ever want to know about the brain. And one thing I realized was that our bodies were meant to move all the time. Of course, we need to rest to repair. But if we don't move, we lose our ability to do things quite as well. And I noticed, I observe everything and pay attention to everything. And so one side of my face, my eyelid on this side droops down normally, quite a bit lower than the one on my right side. And I was at a party with a bunch of kids throwing a volleyball with my left arm on the same side where my eyelid droops a little lower. And I noticed when I got home that my eyelid was sitting at the same level as the one on the right side. And I thought about the class, and I thought, this is interesting. So if you can stimulate your brain, the message that comes back to the body is things are just more alive. And so when I do face yoga, I notice that my eyelid just stands up more on its own. And so I would say that's one thing that makes me look a little older when it droops, but if I do face yoga, it doesn't do that. So enough of me talking. Let's get started. So number one, we want to close our eyes and lift our eyebrows up really high. And just hold that for about 15 seconds. And of course, if you're doing this and you want to do the exercises, just pause it as you go, and you can start it again. Number 2, you want to squint. So squint so that you feel like you're lifting the skin up over your cheeks, and raise your eyebrows as high as you can. And just hold that. So again, you do that for about 15 seconds, and as you get better and better, you may want to do that up to 4 times. So number 3, eyes wide again, and this is good. With Botox, you can't really lift your forehead much, but these muscles need to be worked. So you want to lift your eyes wide again and make a fish face, and you'll feel your face tired at the end of this. So that's number 3. Number 4. Number four, you're going to roll your tongue and open your eyes wide and do intentional blinks. Okay. The next one, we're going to erase our frown lines. If you notice, we're kind of working down the face. So take your tongue and stick it up here, and you're going to go back and forth and go all the way down here, and you'll do that on both sides. You can do it again, maybe do this up to 4 times. But you want to really try as hard as you can because you feel your muscles really working. Okay. Next, we're going to puff our cheeks out. You can repeat that up to 4 times. And next one, this is kind of the most strenuous one. Take your tongue behind your teeth and drag it all the way back, as far back as you can go. And at the same time, take your eyes and look down at your nose. So okay, and the last one I want to show you is not face yoga. This is a Chinese medicine thing. So what you do is you take your fingers and take your fingers and squeeze, starting at the top of the ear, going all the way down to your earlobes. Wearing earrings is not a good idea when you're doing this. Okay? And then I want you to take 2 fingers and grab your ear, and pull as hard as you can, and you can feel stretching going on in there. And what happens, you probably see my ears turn red, is that you bring tons of circulation into your ears. This is actually something I do when I feel tired. Sometimes I do it with patients when they're in my room to try and wake them up a little bit. But it's good to try and move your circulation. The more you move your circulation, the better you're going to look, the more alive you're going to look. Think about how you feel when you exercise. Your face is bright and your eyes are glistening. And one last thing, you can just pat along underneath your eyes. Just to stimulate some circulation, and I feel my face feels like I just exercised. It feels great.